Hey everybody, it's Eddie J on Crypto for GrowMyBag.tv. I hope you're having a good one. It's a crazy day. It's early in the morning. It's already a crazy day. How is it crazy? Well, I saw an interview with Federal Governor Kugler. She is a voting governor this year. And what I saw was, or what she said was, yeah, she voted happily for that 50 basis point cut. So when I look at that, I'm kind of like, wow. And she also said, listen, there are more cuts that can happen. It's all data driven, so we should be paying attention to the numbers. And not for nothing, when I listen to her, I feel I feel like the Fed is properly balanced. I don't think people pay attention to that, but you have to pay attention to how the Fed governors are balanced, during a voting, during that particular voting cycle. And the reason why is because you want, steadfast people that will stand with their decisions and vote in the way that they want to vote. You want differing opinions. So I listened to all of them. But what she said sounds like that's most likely where the bulk of the Fed is going. And I kind of like that. I kind of like that setup. The Premier League, I got to tell you, the Premier League has cut some serious deals. I mean, every time I turn around, they've got another deal going. And the kind of deals that they're cutting are for what? Crypto. You want to know why? Because they had to ditch all of the gambling ads. So that left a huge hole. So that's where, you can find new companies cutting deals with different teams and getting in there and taking advantage. Smart. So they're almost locked up for the 2024-2025 season. And I can think that that's probably going to carry forward for the 25-26 season. So I'm finding that to be very interesting. The reason why I'm bringing that up is because crypto needs to be at the forefront in terms of people's minds. So when I sit there and I look at that, I'm kind of like, yeah, that's a very smart move. Now I want to see what else crypto can do, right? Just saying. And I'm looking at the various markets, Asia, United States, North America, just Europe, just South America, just where are we placing these ads and what kind of impact are they having for, adoption? That's really what I'm looking for is adoption impact. Then you have, for the second time in less than a year, Comcast has a data breach. It's affecting about 237,000 people. And I'm sitting back and I'm talking like social security numbers and everything else. What I want is a regulation that says all businesses must move away from using social security numbers to track their customers. And the reason why is because, at this point, why even bother? I don't think there's any way that there's anybody on this planet whose social security number, or at least in the United States, whose social security number isn't already compromised. You ever stop and think about that? So now I sit back and I kind of go, dang, what would be really cool? Reissue, find a way for people to get new numbers so they can reissue new numbers because they've been breached. And then have companies stop using social security numbers. It's got to be a thing. It's got to be a thing. I think something else, maybe the government needs to step in and say, these are the minimum things that you must do to show us that you actually know how to protect. Like if you're a company over X size, right? Because scammers don't hit small companies. They hit big companies because, the same amount of work would have to happen. So they hit big companies because it's a bigger treasure trove. And I'm saying back, like, here are the minimums that you have to go through. Because they're not doing the minimums. Just look around. This one's been hit, that one's been hit, this one's been hit. And then they want everybody to trust them with their with their information. You can't. You can't. It's almost like everybody when they're born should go to high school and then go to an internet security class, because that's going to be your job for the rest of your life, is protecting your own data. User sovereignty. We had the big conversation about that. User sovereignty is a very big deal, and it's going to become a bigger deal. So when I look at blockchain tech, yeah, maybe those companies should be thinking about blockchain tech just from a security perspective. It's freaking ridiculous. 237,000 people. with Social Security numbers out there. That's enough, people. That's enough. Traders are watching consumer price index numbers. Why? Because it might give us a hint as to where we're going in terms of, the crypto market. Just saying. Too low, too high, volatility, good, bad. You never know. So we're going to have to look to see. Plus, they're also looking to see, well, if these numbers come in good, or if they come in a little low, what's that going to do with the decision making for the next possible timing for a Fed rate cut, which is basically the day after U.S. elections? Something to contemplate. And then you have crypto scammers. This is kind of cool. When I first read this, I was like, oh man, you got to stop and think about it for a second. Crypto scammers are leaving the Ton network because there aren't a lot of whales on that network. Not enough large targets. Now, if you're me and you get into that thought process, you start to realize, wait a minute, that's actually a really good thing. Because it says that network isn't made up of huge whales. It's made up of small little guppies. Fish, regular fish. That's a good thing. That's a very good thing. Because they've grown by leaps and bounds. So to say that network doesn't have a lot of high net worth folks, it says grassroots all the way up. More people on it, all the way up. More activity on it, all the way up. Every time I say all the way up, I mean the price of Toncoin. Just things like that just give me more food for fodder to go, yeah, I think Toncoin is going to do something. That adoption rate is ridiculous. Just saying, And then, there's some analyst out there. I didn't look to see how many, in total, how many followers he has. I think it was less than 1,000, something like that. But they're digging in. And they're like, yeah, Chainlink. I think Chainlink can hit 100,000. What was it? What was that number? Give me a second. Surged to $159.54 by Q2 2025. No, I do not believe in that. I do not. I absolutely do not. Why is that? I just don't see how. I just don't see how. I'm looking right now to see where Chainlink is right now at $11. It's about 79% off its all-time high. So you've got to make up all that room. And it's got a GMBX factor of 3.76, right? That's its GMBX factor. You would have to, multiply that by 13, 14 times? Do I think it's a double-digit X factor? I love Chainlink. I don't think it's that. I don't think it's gonna be like that. You know what I mean? So I'd have to do some research, but he did call out all of the reasons why. Real world assets, DeFi. I mean, he was listing off everything and the deals and everything else, and I was like, he's got sound reasoning behind it. I just don't believe in the numbers, right? I think he's too heavy on the numbers. I don't think by second quarter, maybe in the future, add a couple of years to that, sure, but second quarter of 2025, I'll be happy. I'm not going to kid you. I'll be happy to say, oh, I made a mistake. I'll be happy to say I made a mistake. But to look at this right now and go, oh, yeah, it's going to do it. Market cap would have to reach 100 million or something like that? 100 billion? That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. I mean, how many... Currently, you have 1, 2, 3, 4. So you have a few. You only have 2 that are in double-digit billions, like 100 billion and above. One is 119, the other one's 291. Tether and Ethereum, respectively. And then, of course, you have Bitcoin at 1.2 trillion. Everybody else is basically in the billions. There are only 2. Like I said, there are only 2 in the 100 billion plus market. So you'd have to weigh what coins, what rank you think Chainlink would have to be at. Then you'd have to look at all of the other coins to see, where would you be at? We can get into that a little bit later when we get into the numbers, but that's something to think about. Also, traders are thinking about, experts warn that the any kind of Bitcoin spot ETF options trading could add to the volatility and lead to a super cycle for Bitcoin. And people would sit there and go, what's wrong with that? Well, the volatility would be insane. I mean, high peaks and low valleys. It would be nuts for you to be involved in that super cycle. So that's why DCA, because what you're hoping for is you're DCAing no matter what, but that your DCA is actually on this kind of a lift, on that kind of an angle. That's really what you're hoping for. I'm sitting back and I'm going, yeah, it's possible. It's possible. I mean, don't get me wrong. What they're saying is actually true, but possible that, you could be on an upswing instead of a downswing just because of the market. Depends on when you buy, how you buy, what your DCA strategy is, and what you're buying, of course. Where you're buying, like I said, the biggest thing, not the biggest thing, but one of the biggest things that I preach about is understanding what your entry is and what your exit is, right? Understand how that happens. Understand the speed. How many different ways can you enter and can you exit? Those are very, very, very big deals. Very big deals. So I'll be looking at a whole bunch of stuff. I have some new coins that I have to evaluate. One of them is this. We were speaking about last night. Hutanik said, "Hey, you should look at Kopi, cornucopia. You should take a look at that." Somebody else was talking about Mu. Mu just got listed. I forgot where, but they had just got listed somewhere. No, they were one of the largest coins, on their network, on whatever platform they're on. I totally forget what platform they're on. Maybe Solana, something like that. Who cares? It's a meme. And we started talking about meme coins, and we started talking about NFTs. Do I think that's going to come back? Am I going to get back into it? Meme coins, am I interested? That kind of thing. Yeah, I'm holding some memes. I'm definitely holding some meme coins, but those will be the first I trade. Those will be the first I dump, right? When everything starts turning south, I will be dumping meme coins immediately, right? And waiting for the perfect entry, not perfect, but good entry point back into Bitcoin. You figure when it's on that downward slant, that's when I'll be getting in with all of those proceeds, just getting in over there. I'll also be leaving some. Remember what I said, when I sell something, I take a portion of that and I put it into my dry powder category. I just put it into dry powder. What's dry powder? That's when I'll dump into a stable coin that's giving me staking abilities. I will absolutely do that. Why? Because I want to be able to move as quickly as possible. A lot of people are like, oh, I'm going to take that profit. I'm like, yeah, I did take the profit. I am pegged to the US dollar when I move into a stable coin. I'm probably making more off of staking than I am when I do anything else than leaving it in a bank. So yeah, I'm gonna dump that into another project. Like I said, a stable coin. And then I'll wait for other stakeable coins to level off and snatch those up depending on how much I get for staking. Like if you look at Cardano, when you stake, you actually get Cardano back. So it's like, wait a minute, I can stake in Cardano. When it hits a bottom, stake in Cardano and I'm making money again. But it depends. I really want to have enough dry powder on the side because, the next bull run, this bull run was totally different than the rest. The next one will be totally different than the rest. And the spikes that you're going to see, or those climbs up that you're going to see, are going to start to dwindle. And that's when you start looking at real investment. Again, I tell people all the time, when I'm looking at something, I'm really looking at, are you a real business or are you just a real coin? You have real use case for your coin. If you're a business, then you're not really, a coin project, a token project. So, I evaluate those things. Are you just going for money? And I think about that. If you're a company, I would rather invest directly, right? I'd rather own some stock. But as a coin, look at how many coins are. Look at how many coins got started by various companies, and there were companies and those coins suffered because of it, because they didn't have a real use case. They just said, oh, we can get some money off of dumping into a coin, creating a coin and having people dump into it, and that's free money. I'm like, yeah, but Bad taste in the mouth, all that good stuff. But that's what I'm looking for in the future. But listening to Fed Governor Kugler and all the news that I just reported today and news that I reported last night, that's right. You should listen in at night because we start talking about different things. One of the things that we started talking about was the impact of Milton. Now, here's the thing. That hurricane could be the biggest that, Florida has ever seen. We're talking about it's scheduled to hit Tampa. It's going to decimate Tampa. I feel bad for that. I have a lot of people down there I know. So that's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. Then on the other hand, we're sitting back and we're looking at, well, there's another storm coming in right behind it. It's supposed to hit on like the 16th or something like that. The weather has changed and things are changing in major fashion. So there are things that we're gonna have to contend with. Anyway, you know what we should do? That's right. We should get into numbers. I have to get up in the morning and remember to put the watermark on. I always forget. That's not a good thing. That's not a good thing at all. But it's all right. Boom. So we'll start with the crypto, with GMBX factor and the top 25 winners. Top 25 losers, of which there are a lot. Wow, the whole list, everybody here is a real loser. Meaning that today they just happen to be down greater than 5% because I have a 5% rule. So let's see, let's go down. Pepe is down 9%. Let's see, Caspa is down 8%. Hamster Combat, shocker there, down 8%. It's only 36% off its all-time high. It's why I don't buy when they first hit, because you're going to have to give them a few days because they drop significantly after that, sometimes as much as 50%. Beam is down 8%. Dog with Hat is down 8%. Ondo down 7%. Celestia down 7%. Wow. Bonk down 7%. Jitto, not something I hold, but down 6%. Who else? Pith Network is down 6%. They are 73% off their all-time high with a 2.76 GMBX factor. Flare, Arweave, also down. Stacks is down. Wormhole is down. Aerodrome Finance, we were talking about that last night. They're down. Osmosis is down, all 6%. Jasmy Coin, I don't know that I would ever pay attention to Jasmy Coin. Look at this. Right there, 100%. 100% off its all-time high. That's ridiculous. That means it's dropped so far down that it's not even funny. It's ridiculous. Might as well be zero. Just saying that those numbers are ridiculous. So it's not down as much as you would think. I mean, it's not 100%, right? Because you still have a little bit of money left. But this is where they come from. They're saying, well, you might as well say it's lost all of its value. So when I read the news and I see all these notes about Jasmy Coin, I sit there and I just go, why would I ever get involved with that? Like, nah, I'm good off that. I'm okay. No, I'm all right. It would be $1 billion coin. When the market gets better, it'll hit $1 billion. Easy. In terms of market cap. Easy. Top 25 winners. Let's see. Nero's up 18%. GMBX factor of 0.09. It's basically new. Eigenlayer is making a comeback. 13%. It's only 0.19 GMBX factor. So you see what I'm saying? Turbo is up 11%. Let's see. Phantom is up 5%. And immediately, that's it. All done. That means everybody else from here down, from there down, is moving sideways. Hasn't done anything. That's nuts. We're just waiting. We're just waiting for a catalyst. And I hope that catalyst is not something like Milton, right? So here are the earnings reports for this week. You got PepsiCo this week. Today. You have PepsiCo today, IDT Corporation, telecom. Let's see, Village Supermarket, Saratoga Investment Corp. So I think the biggest name on this one is definitely going to be Pepsi, right? And we'll listen to that. We'll see what kind of money are people spending on your stuff. We already know about the CPI and PPI coming out later this week. We've got the Fear and Greed Index at 41. We have DeFi Llama. Wow, we dropped $2 billion in a day in total value locked. We're at $90.2 billion in total value locked. Then you look at the big board and you sit back. Again, this is another one of those days where you sit back and go, wow, which one can I buy? Which one should I buy? Let's just take two off the board right now. You're always going to buy. I always buy BTC. I always buy ETH. And as of late, I've been having a flavor for some BNB and BCH. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are the ones that I'm looking at all the time, right? I hate when I do that. Click stuff that I shouldn't be clicking on. And so you think about, where you're at and what kind of deals you can get. This is why you look around. This is why I use the GMB crypto tracker, because it gives me numbers, steady numbers that I can look at, and it helps me to better evaluate all of these opportunities. Like, who's dropped a lot? XRP has dropped from 60 cents. So who's dropped a lot where I can say, oh, I can make money on that? Solana's down a bit. Oh, I can make money on that. Cardano, that's a higher low for Cardano. Remember, it's been as low as 30 cents, as low as 28, but it hit 33 and now it's hitting 35 and it's kind of hovering. You sit there and you kind of go, huh, that's something to pay attention to. It was at 40 cents. Is that 40 cents? So you start to realize, like, oh, there are places where I can make good money if I'm paying attention. Yeah. Pay attention to your moves. Pay attention. Do the math. Don't be lazy. Do the math. There are a lot of opportunities in here. Somebody last night was talking about how they're going to move, how they're going to dump ICP and get into SUI. SUI's been jumping up like all over the place. All over the place. All over the place. And I'm sitting back and I'm going, yeah, it revisited its all-time high. Here's SUI. 3% move. Its all-time high is $2.17. It's not that far. At $2.10, at 201, it's not that far. So I'm just saying, there are ways here that you can make money. There are ways here that you can make money. Just pay attention to what's out there. Pay attention to the options that you have. Do the math. Doing the math is a very big deal. Anyway, everybody, this is Eddie J on crypto for growmybag.tv. I hope you like what I'm doing. If you do, hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you know when I'm dropping a new video. I need to start saying that at the beginning of the videos. Anyway, everybody, thank you for your time. Bye-bye.